Hey, what's up everyone? And we are back with some Guild Ball. That's right, Sean and I setting up to play some Guild Ball using the new 2025 game plan cards. We've got Ratcatchers, which have those really cool neon green bases, versus the Navigators today. And for the teams, for the Ratcatchers, we're looking at Piper, Squeak, Pelage, Skulk, Miasma, and Scourge. And for the Navs, we're running Windfinder, Wander, Fathom, Azimuth, Ebb, and Siren is the tech pick this game. So really interesting on the Ratcatchers. No Bone Saw in this game, which is going to affect their game plan. So they're going for the 2-2, 2 goals, 2 takeouts. Keys for them: protect that goal with Skulk. They want to punish with that disease mechanic between Miasma and Scourge. Really try to work the takeout game and grind me down to a halt that way. And late Reverie with Piper to score those goals, really close that out. So this is going to be an interesting matchup for the Ratcatchers. This is Sean's, I don't know, he hasn't had that many reps with the Ratcatchers, so he's wanting to play them. Meanwhile, I'm staying in my comfort zone. I'm taking the Navs. And we're playing a 2-2 also. Keys for us: Azimuth. Yeah. Walk up, knock things down, keep them knocked down. That's good. Our takeout targets are going to be pretty important here. So looking at those lower defense targets, particularly Miasma, but also low health like Pelage. And finally, maintain that goal pressure with, obviously, with Fathom and Windfinder, really keeping the goal pressure, and then also having the takeout pressure with Windfinder. So I'm kicking off here to Sean. This is going to be a good one. We're shaking off the rust and the cobwebs here, and I'm going to kick this goal. I'm going to kick my opening kick here, going for kind of a shallow kick. I end up re-rolling it, because why not? I'm a Navigator. We can do that. That's one of the reasons why I play this guild, because dice are so bad for me. But really excited to play some Guild Ball again today. This game does end up being kind of a longer game, but let's see how we do. So there's our ball placement. Really nice short kick over the pitch there. And let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so here's the classic dilemma of having a shallow ball and you've got Fathom in terrain with the momentum, just kind of staring at that ball, right? So Sean is figuring out his allocation here. For me, it's like kicking is just such a naturally comfortable thing for how I play. So it's going to be 4 on Fathom, 4 on Windfinder, I think 3 on Azimuth, 2 on Siren, and I think I have 1 or 2 on Ebb. Whatever was left over was on Ebb. So he's gonna, it looks like with, he goes ahead and moves up with Piper, and then he, for whatever reason, he causes Scourge to get up there, but does not snap the ball, and that is just a strange activation. Sometimes it just throws me off. So I get up there with Fathom. Hey, let's just get the ball. I actually think about a goal here for a second, but I'm gonna bounce off of Scourge there. Skulk is gonna think about maybe walking up towards me, but it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna try to pass the ball backwards. And I'm just kind of kicking it into space there and see if one of my guys can pick it up later in the turn. It scatters a little wide there, but that's okay. Hey, I've got possession of the ball, but now the problem is Sean's got himself a potential hostage there that he could take advantage of. So we'll see what Sean elects to do next. So Scourge is now kind of out of position to get the ball, but he can definitely set up to do some stuff to Fathom here. I'm not sure what he's measuring here. It looks like he's going to charge in with Pelage. That's right, he goes in with Pelage. He's going to do a bunch of damage. You got some tag along from the Squeak there. So he'll do some damage to Fathom. Unfortunately, with Fathom not knocked down, it's, you know, he's going to do some damage here, but it's just not as bad as it could have been. So I'm pretty grateful for that. I'm just going to go ahead and put, it looks like I'm going to put Ebb there where he can be effective, although there's really not much armor on the board here. I'm just kind of burning an activation. Meanwhile, it looks like Squeak is going to come around here, and he's going to try to squeal at Ebb, push Ebb all the way back to the line, basically. Not a bad play there. Siren is going to fetch the ball, and then she's going to try to pass it back to Windfinder and fail. Ball's going to scatter a bit deeper than it could have gone. Just having issues early game with maintaining the ball, and again, the non-reroll Navigators, such as Siren, not doing so well. So Windfinder's going to have to fix this play. She's going to sprint back there, pick up the ball. She's going to give full speed ahead to Azimuth, and then just end her activation there behind cover. And meanwhile, Miasma's going to come up. She's going to try to throw Radicalism at Angel. We forget that Angel has Beautiful, so this wouldn't have even been in range, but that's okay. It misses. And so we're figuring out what to do here. It looks like Azimuth's got himself a nice clean path up there to Scourge. So he's going to go ahead and charge Scourge. And we know what Azimuth does. He's just going to start knocking people down. So he ends up knocking down basically everybody up there, because that's what Scourge does. Free charge, and then he had 3 on him. So I believe the end of the turn here, absolutely everybody gets knocked down except for Skulk, who's in the back there. Piper might still be up. I don't remember. No, yeah, it looks like I don't get to Piper. I just throw a bunch of knockdown around and get ready for the next turn. So I've got now things are looking good. I've got a momentum lead. I've got a bunch of guys knocked down. We're gonna play cards. I think is the end of the turn. Is there anybody else that needs to go? I think that was everybody. I'm gonna win initiative here. I play like the one mean guys where they're mad at each other. So I'm gonna make Miasma and Windfinder push 1 inch towards each other, and I'm gonna set up here. This is what is normally a 6-point activation with Windfinder starting off here, but I don't have quite the angles I want to score the goal. And Fathom she's in pain right now. She got hit pretty bad. So we're figuring out, well, how do I want to triangulate this for a takeout here? But I'm going to go in on Pelage. So I'm going to jog over to here. We're going to go ahead and Legendary. So give people a bunch of 4-inch dodges. I'm going to dodge. I dodge Fathom, who is, I believe, currently like hurting real bad and diseased. I'm going to get her out of the play. And you can see I've got Siren in there. I've got Ebb. I've got Azimuth amongst all the knockdown people. And Windfinder does what she does. One thing we forgot is we forgot Empathy. So I really should not be getting momentum for my damage. But I don't think it would have mattered anyways. I ended up killing her, but it does give me a momentum advantage here. Navigators are going to get on the board with 2. And unfortunately, I end up clearing Fathom, which should not be possible. I should have only netted 2 momentum off of that takeout. But that's okay. I mean, it doesn't play that much of a role until later in the game. Sean is now out that 4 influence that he had Pelage, which is kind of bad. The ball is still sitting back there, and he's trying to work out, can he just snatch the ball up from Ebb? So he's gonna, I believe, try to tackle the ball off Ebb. So he gets the ball, but unfortunately does not end up with enough influence to finish the play on that side of the board there. Yeah, and it looks like he's just gonna kind of push away there with the ball. I believe at this point, I decide to go with Azimuth and continue my reign of knockdown terror. So we do that, doing a little bit of damage to Miasma and working on Miasma as the next potential takeout. So it looks like, I'm just letting the game, or letting Sean dictate to me what's open. Takeouts right now are a little bit open. The ball is on the far side of the board. I go ahead and dodge netted on Piper, knock the ball down, knock him down, and the ball scatters super wide. You can see it's barely even on screen. You can just see the bottom of the base of the ball. It looks like Miasma goes. She and by the way, he's making good use of Miasma's ability where you can just clear a condition if you activate within 6. That's getting all his guys up. If Miasma had gone down the beginning of the turn, which probably would have been a much better move for me with Windfinder. If I'd done that first, then then he would have a really hard time getting all his guys up to do anything. Looks like Miasma does a little bit of a push there on Siren, and meanwhile it looks like I just kind of walk around the corner there with Fathom and heal her up a little bit. So Fathom, was taking a bunch of damage, but then I managed to keep her around. Meanwhile, it looks like Scourge is going to go into Azimuth here, and he ends up landing like quite a hit on Azimuth. So he's got a lot of damage on Azimuth right there. I then take Wander and use him to pull Ebb further back so that he can threaten the ball there later in the turn. Squeak goes in, tries to do something to Siren, does nothing. And I don't remember what Ebb does here. I think he's just gonna walk up and threaten the ball. Yeah. So just gonna get in the middle of that, do a little damage to Miasma. I guess I do that instead of going back there for the ball. I figure, if Piper wants to get that ball, that's fine. I've got a bit of a momentum and a takeout advantage going there. Skulk is going to go into Fathom. Does a little bit of damage, not much going on there. Siren, meanwhile, going to go this way, dodge out of the rat, and then I'm just gaining momentum here. I thought I could Siren or Seduction to cause the big guy to swing on Miasma. However, they're out of range of each other, so there's no real reason to do that. So Siren's just gonna gather some more momentum there. I believe that's the end of the turn. Looking at the next turn, Sean is gonna bring. You can see Pelage up there at the top of the screen. Sean is gonna be going first, and yeah, we're gonna keep moving. So Sean is trying to figure out that goal there at the top of the screen. And then Pelage is going to go, looks like, charge into Fathom. Do a bit more damage. But again, I had healed up Fathom. So she's doing okay. And Pelage, again, without a knockdown Fathom, not doing a whole lot to Fathom at this point. So the game is kind of grindy right now because the ball is out of play, and I'm just working on, okay, I need to get my second takeout here, and it's really gonna just focus in on Miasma. I really want her out too because it's gonna mean the end of the that thing where he gets to just pull the knockdown condition off. So end up taking her out. Yeah, so things are looking pretty good there. Sean is trying to figure out, can he go in and do anything about that goal there? But anyways, it looks like once Azimuth takes out Miasma, he's going to just be annoying. Piper is going to go ahead and push him out of the way. And then try to triangulate to grab that ball that you can just barely see. So he's going to he's going to get into Wander and do the push double dodge stuff to get to the ball. However, part of Sean getting initiative means I get to mess with his kick. So he's looking at a legendary there to kick the ball, and normally his kick of 6 has gone down to 3-4 because of that penalty on his card. That's an interesting card for a 7. It just hurts a lot. I don't know if that I actually want to play that 7. But yeah, he manages to get the push double dodges he wants. And I think the problem is he runs out of influence to physically kick the ball. So now I've got to continue that backfield when I'm working on the takeout game. Skulk really trying to get some more work into Fathom there. So he's got to work on that side, but you see like the big old stack on Windfinder there. So Windfinder is going to try to do some Windfinder things. So she's going to go ahead and charge Pelage, I think, who comes in on 7. So this is, I believe, going to be another takeout here on Pelage again. So I've already outside of the 2-2 plan at this point. And again, this is a longer game, so just working that magic there to kill Pelage again. Pelage, I think, still barely alive, but now I've got this interesting thing. Pelage is still alive, and I've got Siren back there, who's going to charge Pelage, get Seduction off, and I think what I end up doing is I end up having Skulk punch Pelage to death. So Skulk kills Pelage, and I think that's gonna basically be the turn there. I go in and just threaten Piper with Ebb, and that will end the next turn. All right, so we're going into the final turn here. So Sean has Miasma coming in on the top of the screen there. He's going to give a lot to Piper for this goal. I'm going to go in because just kind of top heavy again with Windfinder. I've got some on Siren there. Fathom's got, I think, 1 or 2 just to help keep her relevant. And then we stay. I think I have 1 on Ebb, and I keep the same energy there. Azimuth he keeps a couple. So this is pretty easy stuff. Piper's going to go ahead, kick that goal there, and score that. And I'm going to send this ball in pretty deep. Either I pick up a goal here to finish the game, or I can just try to kill Miasma for game there. So the ball sitting there in the middle. I've spent a little bit of the time in the tank here figuring out exactly what's the best course of action. And I believe Sean was able to put up Horrific Odor, so I'm just like trying to figure out what's the best way to do this. So I have Azimuth get up there. He's going to, looks like instead of going into Scourge, I'm just going to get up there and pass the ball over to Windfinder. So Windfinder's got the ball. She's got a big stack of influence. Sean is going to get up there with Scourge and try to take the ball from Windfinder, which I believe he does. I counter, I think, just to give him him singled out over there. And I think, if I recall, he still has the, or no, it looks like I got the ball back. So Fathom is going to go up there, just kind of help set up this play. Right? Get a couple of momentum, just dodge and try to be relevant here. Sean is figuring out what he can do. I think he decides he wants to charge with Scourge, and he charges Fathom, trying to get the take out there. That's a big ol' hit. And I think he does end up taking Fathom out here. Okay, so for me, I'm trying to figure out what's the easier target. Do I try to finish off Skulk there? Or do I try for a 6-point activation off Skulk and trying to score a goal? So it looks like I'm just gonna go after Skulk. So we're gonna work on wearing him down again with Windfinder, get Skulk down, and then score the goal. All right, that's gonna do it, everyone. Thanks for watching.